on tax trends and recent KRA updates. So to start with, for those who are new, RWK Africa is a tax and audit consultancy firm based in Westlands. We deal with tax matters, audit, bookkeeping, and advisory. So that is our core business. And in addition to that, we are very keen on taxpayer, or rather clients, creating awareness to our clients just to ensure that you stay compliant, because there are very many changes that do come up in relation with tax. And for that reason, we normally hold 3 free webinars each and every month. One on tax trends, the other is on a sector-based, could be an NGO, like the next one we are going to have will be on NGOs. And the third one and the last one will be on any tax topic. So thank you so much for joining us. Even as we discuss what is trending in the tax arena. So my content for today I'll start with an introduction. Then we'll look at the key legislative changes in the recent past. And when you talk of legislative changes, we mean changes that affect the tax laws, that is the VAT Act, Income Tax Act, or the Tax Procedures Act. We're also going to look at the key tax and iTax enhancements. So KRA in the recent past have been making changes on iTax just to ensure that your interactions are smooth. The other area that you're going to look at is on audit, tax audit focus areas. Those are the key areas that KRA is focused on right now with regards to tax audits. We're also going to look at the recent tax rulings, and that they are going to inform how we interpret different tax laws. And also, lastly but not least, we look at the compliance tips. Also, towards the end, we are going to have My Accurate Books demo, so stay tuned. My Accurate Books is an accounting software that has been developed by RWK Africa. So we are going to do a demonstration on how it operates and how you can be able to maneuver around it. So stay tuned. To begin with, we are in a new era of tax enforcement, and KRA is really embracing technology when it comes to enforcing compliance. And therefore, KRA no longer just relies on what you have filed on your iTax, but rather compares this data on iTax with that party information such as banks, your suppliers, your e-teams, in order to get a true picture of how you have been operating. So in our today's discussion, we're going to cover the most important changes that have taken place in the recent past, and we are going to bring more emphasis on audits, because that is one area that I'm sure most businesses are scared of, just to help you stay compliant. We're going to start with the changes on excise duty. So the Finance Act 2025 has introduced excise duty charges on virtual asset transaction at a rate of 10%, which is charged on virtual asset providers. So when you talk of virtual assets, these are cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoins. So there's an introduction of a 10% excise duty on the same. Under betting and gaming, excise duty has changed from the previous rate of 15% to 5%. And also you realize that the basis of taxation on excise duty has changed. Earlier on, the excise duty was charged on the amount that you placed as a bet or the stake that you placed. But now, tax is paid earlier on in the betting process. So when you deposit money on your wallet, on your money, on your M-Pesa wallet, or rather on your betting wallet, excise duty is charged on that point. So KRA has decided they're not going to wait until you place your bets. They'll be collecting their dues upfront. Also, under betting, withholding taxes has been reduced from 20% to 5% based on your net winnings, and this has been these changes have been effected on iTax. So when you're filing your returns on iTax with regards to betting, you're going to be able to see these changes. Also, still under excise duty, KRA has removed excise duty on a range of products. And the affected items are imported eggs, imported onions, imported potatoes, those are crisps and chips, coal, imported self-adhesive plates, sheets, film, foil, tape, strip, and other flat shapes or plastics. Also, there's no excess duty on imported printed paper or paperboard and cosmetics and beauty products. Well, this is a good move because it's going to reduce the cost of these products. However, it's kind of a tricky situation because on one hand, the government is trying to reduce the tax burden to the consumer, but also on the other hand, there are local producers of this same product. So it's going to create an unfair competition for the local producers, in my opinion. So I feel that in as much as this has been enforced, the government needs to monitor, to do some monitoring just to ensure that the local market is not crippled by these changes. The other change is on withholding VAT exemption. So for a manufacturer in Kenya, there are specific exemptions that that relates to withholding VAT. And this is mostly based on the investment amounts. So you can be, as a manufacturer, you can be exempted from withholding, from being a VAT withholding agent on the basis of your investment amount. And when you talk of investment amount, it's the amount that you put in your business, your capital contribution. That is what makes up your investment amount. So previously, for you to qualify for this exemption, you had to, first of all, you need to have registered as a manufacturer in Kenya, and that rule still remains. The other thing is that you need to show that you have invested a minimum of 3 billion within or over a specified period of 3 years, that is 2019 and 2023. That means if you had met this threshold maybe before 2019 or after 2022, it will not have counted. So with the changes, now the threshold has been lowered to 2 billion, and also the timelines have been specified to up to December 2024. So you, as a company, first you have to be registered as a manufacturing company in Kenya, and number two, you must have at least a 2 billion investment value as at December 2024. And when you are applying for this exemption, you have to upload support documents that show you have met this threshold. So you need to have your records very well on how much you're spending on your business for this period. So the implication is that now there's a lower entry threshold of 2 billion open up, which has opened up exemption for more manufacturers. There's an easier compliance check because now the timeline has been specified to be as at 31st of December 2024, which simplifies the verification process because everyone now knows what is expected. And it's going to encourage investment in the manufacturing sector. So this is a good move. There has also been changes in the compliance timelines, whereby the timelines of submitting objections or appeals again, has been defined to exclude weekends and public holidays. And the iTax system has been updated to reflect these changes. So we all know the timeline of objecting is 30 days. Prior to this directive, 30 days included weekends and public holidays. But now, as from 1st July, going forward, the objection period is going to exclude public holidays and weekends. The implication for this is that the submission period for objection is going to be longer. So you're going to have more time to prepare your submissions. And these changes also ensure that a taxpayer is not disadvantaged by non-working days when computing your statutory deadlines. The other change is on gratuity exemption. So recently, KRA has released a circular providing meant to provide guidelines on how this exemption should be treated. So, as per the circular, gratuity that has been earned after 1st of July 2025 is exempt from tax. So, for gratuity that has been earned prior, and even if it has been paid late, if gratuity was earned in May, but in September, this gratuity will be exempt, which has been earned 1st of going forward. The circular also exemption should be treated. So it should be spread across up to 4 previous years and balanced in the 5th year. That is for gratuity that was earned prior to 1st July 2025. The taxes applicable are for the respective year, and also for gratuity that is paid out on a public pension scheme, which was exempted by the Amendment Act 2024, which was effected in December 2024. The guidance above shall apply with respect to the previous periods. So this guideline applies for periods prior to December 2024, before exemption came to force. So that is it with the legislative changes. We are going to look at iTax enhancements. So KRA has made some changes with regards to income tax return filing for residents and non-residents, both online and offline. There has been an enhancement to include a section for declaring lump sum and final tax incomes, such as gratuity, pension, arrears, qualifying interest, and dividends. So with this enhancement, this income will only be captured for the respective reporting purpose only, and will not affect the net taxable income, taxes due, or refund calculations. It will also reflect in the gross consolidated income for the year. So taxpayers who wish to declare such incomes, you are advised to download the latest version of the ITR and ITNR returns to access this feature. So you can interact with your iTax and get to see how this enhancement applies. There has also been an automation on tax return filing for salaries and salaried employees. So KRA says that going forward, you're only going to be required to log into your iTax portal, input your ID number, then automatically your income and pay details that you have been filing, that your employer has been filing on your behalf will be auto-filled. So you'll not have to use the manual entry forms, the P9 forms. And this directive will be effective from next year, meaning it will affect how we file our returns for 2025. So I don't know if this auto-filling is going to include the insurance details. So we are going to see how this is going to be rolled out. Also, it's going to make this process of filing simpler, and I'm hoping it's going to correct the reconciliation issues that have been coming up with regards to pay and income tax returns for salary. Yeah, and it's going to reduce error and save time. So the collection of taxes, KRA has also up the role of acting as agents and collecting taxes on behalf of, for now we know of NITA and the housing levy. So in addition to those two, KRA has partnered with Athi River Works Development Agency to collect revenue on its behalf. This was earlier communicated. So a back office payment registration service has been developed so that officers can assist taxpayers when necessary to generate payment slip for this agency tax. So on this one, your account manager, or rather the KRA officers, are the ones who are going to help you generate the payment slips. Also, KRA is acting as an agent for collecting the sugar development levy. This was also communicated. And the process for generating a payslip is, so when you go to iTax under agency revenue, you'll see an addition of a sugar development levy. So you can be able to generate your payment slip. You go to iTax under the tax head agency revenue. You get, there's a subhead of sugar development levy. You generate your payment slip. Payment is via the KRA agent banks or the citizen pay bill of 22222 using the payment registration number that you have generated from iTax. There has also been changes on how payments are offset. So the OAV is an overpayment adjustment voucher, which you get when you overpay your taxes, and an ARV is a refund adjustment voucher. So when you apply for a refund and it is approved, KRA is given a timeline of up to 6 months to disburse these amounts to your bank accounts. Failure to this, the system automatically generates a refund adjustment voucher of the same amount with the refunds due. And you would have used this refund adjustment voucher to offset any taxes. So going forward, you can no longer use the overpayment adjustment voucher or refund adjustment voucher to offset pay, withholding income tax, withholding VAT, and withholding tax on rents. So when you go to iTax, you realize that this option has been disabled. Even on the template, the fields have been grayed out. So you are only limited to offset obligations such as income tax and VAT. As for pay and withholding taxes, you can no longer use these vouchers to offset. And in my opinion, the reason for this is because I think pay and withholding tax are among the critical taxes in Kenya, and they are among the only taxes that can be easily monitored. And by monitoring, I mean they are remitted by a third party. So for pay, your employer is the one who remits on your behalf. For withholding tax, it's your customer who is going to withhold your taxes. So I think KRA felt that taxpayers are going to misuse this option of setting OAV and RAV on pay and withholding taxes. So they restricted this option. But for VAT and income tax, you can use the same. Also, there are additional banks for your PRN payments. The following banks have been included in the list for KRA partner banks. We have DIB Bank, Kenya Limited, Habib Bank, Housing Finance Bank, Kingdom Bank Limited, and SBM Bank Kenya. So if you're banking with any of these banks, you can now be able to pay your taxes through them. So which means it's going to be more convenient for taxpayers and accessible. I don't know if this notice is visible on your end. Sorry for that. So the Finance Act 2025 introduced a change on how losses are going to be treated. So losses carried forward have been limited to up to only 5 years. You can only carry forward your losses to a maximum of 5 years prior to the previous directive of well, in the previous directive, you would have carried forward your losses to an indefinite period, meaning if your loss relates to 2015, you can still be able to carry it forward and offset to an indefinite period. But as from 1st July 2025, losses have been limited to up to 5 years. And I feel like the businesses that are going to be most affected are those that require more capital investment at the start of the business, meaning that for this business to break even or be able to make profits is going to take a very long time. And for this time, they'll be required to be carrying forward their losses. So this directive is going to really affect such businesses, and the businesses are like real estate, manufacturing, and maybe infrastructure. So in regards to this, a taxpayer sought a private ruling on how this directive should be interpreted. I'll read the letter as it is. So it's an application for a private ruling as per Section 65 of the Tax Procedures Act 2015 on the interpretation of the Section 15, subsection 4 of the Income Tax Act as amended by Finance Act 2025 regarding carrying forward of tax losses. So this is the response they got from KRA. So in the letter, you made reference to the Finance Act 2025 that amended Section 15, subsection 4 of the Income Tax Act to limit the period within which losses can be carried forward as allowable deduction to 5 years, and that the amendment took effect on 1st July 2025. You noted that the amendment did not provide for a transitional clause to address tax treatment of losses that accumulated prior to 1st July 2025. You stated that in the absence of a transitional clause, it is your understanding that following the said amendment, 1, losses accumulated prior to 1st July 2025 will continue to be carried forward indefinitely and remain allowable without being subjected to the 5 years limitation. This was the interpretation of the taxpayer who sought this clarification. Also, the 5-year carrying forward limitation applies only to losses that are accumulated on or after 1st of July 2025. You have therefore sought our concurrence on the above understanding. Specifically, you seek confirmation that tax losses incurred before 1st of July 2025 will continue to be carried forward indefinitely. This is their response. As you have observed, the amendment of Section 15, subsection 4 of the Income Tax Act via the Finance Act 2025 did not provide for a transitional clause for the existing losses at the time of of the amendment, we therefore guide that any losses incurred prior to the year of income 2020 are not deductible going forward. So this was KRA's response. They're saying that for losses that were incurred for the year 2020 going back will not be deducted going forward. So this is a private ruling, meaning it applies to this taxpayer who requested for clarification. However, it shows the intention of KRA. It shows the intention of KRA enforcing this directive. So we are waiting to hear from KRA or maybe a court ruling that is going to be binding to every taxpayer on tax losses relating to 2020 going back. But as for now, this is the directive that KRA has given. So let us now shift and look at the recent rulings by the High Court or the Tax Appeals Tribunal, which is going to provide a guideline on how specific laws are interpreted and are enforced by the KRA. So we'll start by looking at a case between Harrier versus Commissioner of Domestic Taxes. And it's an issue, it's a case revolving around capital gains tax. So Harrier transferred shares in Haley's Limited to Westlands Heights Limited on 30th of December 2022. Take note of the timelines. So shares were transferred on 30th of December 2022. The agreement was dated 29th December 2022. And based on this transfer, Harrier did a self-assessment on CGT, and at that time, the prevailing rate was 5%. So he did a self-assessment at 5% and paid accordingly. The agreement was presented for stamping on 30th of December 2022, but the actual stamping only occurred on 4th of January 2023, after the CGT rate had increased to 15% effective January 2023. And based on this increment on CGT, KRA issued an additional assessment on CGT of 416 million, arguing that the tax point was the stamping date, which is 2023. Harrier objected, and the objection decision was upheld by KRA, and aggrieved by this, he appealed to the tribunal, and the tribunal also dismissed this case and sided with KRA, and they decided to escalate this to the High Court. So upon assessing the matter and deliberations, the High Court ruling was that the tax point in this date, the tax point is the date when the shares were sold and payment was received. And this is on 30th of December 2022. And the rate that applies is not 15%, but the 5% rate at December 2022. And for this reason, the KRA's assessment was set aside and the taxpayer won. So why does this case matter to us? So first of all, it confirms the statutory position on CGT tax points. The Finance Act 2023 stated that the tax point for CGT are the earlier of payment, transfer, or registration of earlier of payment, transfer, or registration of this agreement. So from this ruling, it confirms that the tax point for CGT is the earlier is on, in this case, the tax point for CGT was on payment, which came before registration of the agreement. Also, it's going to protect the taxpayers on delays that are caused by administration administration delays. You realize that they presented the agreement on 29th of December 2022, but it was signed on 4th of the following year. So these are delays that are caused by their own administration procedures, and therefore a taxpayer should not be made to bear the burden of additional taxes because of this. So this has clarified the tax point on CGT. For anyone with a question, please direct it on the chat box. I'll look at it at the end of this session and answer the best of my ability. So please direct your questions to the chat box. So the next case is between Kirin Pipes Limited and the Commissioner of Domestic Taxes, and a very good example of what happens when you as a company, you are not able to substantiate your financial transactions. When KRA conducts an audit on you, there are a number of documents that they request from you at the beginning. And on top of the list is always your bank statement. So in this case, KRA, Kirin provided their bank statement, and a bank analysis was done by the KRA, comparing bank credits and the income declared between the periods 2019 and 2022. And from this, KRA found that there was undeclared income and issued additional assessment for corporation tax and VAT. For the details of these cases, you can check out the TAT number or even the title of the case. And then you can search or under Kenya law, can be able to see the details of the case and the judgment. So based on this, taxpayer argued that not all bank deposits in the statements related to taxable income, which is a very valid point. Kirin said that in addition to business income, there was capital injection of 29 million. There were loan proceeds of 31 million and advance payments of 65 million and inter-account transfers. So based on what they provided, KRA found that the documents were insufficient, and therefore Kirin was not able to discharge their burden of proof. So aggrieved by this, Kirin appealed to the tribunal, and the tribunal assessed the case, and under capital injection, he was requested to provide support documents. He was supposed to provide a shareholders resolution that shows an agreement for a shareholder to inject some capital in the business. Also, the other challenge was that the transactions that Kirin was treated as capital injection had the narration of cash deposits, SWIFT, RTGS, such narrations in the bank, and therefore it was not possible to trace these credits to the shareholders. The other thing, on the loan, Kirin was requested to provide loan statements, and from what they provided, the loan statements were not signed. There was, as per the agreement, the loan had no interest, and from the bank statement, there was no evidence of any repayments or even a timeline on the agreement stating when the loan should be repaid. Advance payment, he was requested to provide invoices that relate to those advance payment and prove that the sale was declared. No invoice was provided, and therefore the deposits could not be linked to any income that was declared. And for this reason, Kirin failed to substantiate claims with proper documentation, and therefore he lost. The assessment of 21 million was upheld by the Tax Appeals Tribunal. So you realize that documentation is very important. For KRA, mere arguments or important unless you provide physical support documents. And as taxpayers, it is unfortunate, I would say, that when it comes to tax audits, a taxpayer will always start from a disadvantaged position. And I say this because KRA will do their own analysis. They will have their allegations and present it to you. And it is up to you as a taxpayer to prove them otherwise. So if you fail to provide documents to disapprove the allegations by KRA, then their assessments will be justified. So it is very important, just an emphasis on how important documentation is. Every transaction, if it's a contract, if it's an agreement, if there are expenses, there are specific documents that KRA normally requests at the beginning of an audit: ledgers, physical invoices, expenses, bank records, stock register, such things. It is very important that you maintain them as a business for a period of up to 5 years. This is going to be your only defense when it comes to tax audits. So that is it with the recent rulings. Let us look at now what KRA is focusing on with regards to tax audit. Number one is return review. So KRA is going really hard on return review. They're verifying whatever you've been filing on iTax, that is income tax, pay, and VAT. They're checking for inconsistencies, any omission, and any mismatch. And when you talk of mismatch, they compare your returns for VAT and your income tax. They check at the sales declared on VAT vis-a-vis those on income tax. They check on purchases under VAT and income tax. As for pay, they look for your pay returns throughout the year and your salaries and wages. Those are the comparisons that KRA make. And if they spot any inconsistencies, you will be flagged for an audit. And as the review goes on, you will be requested to provide supporting documents. In the case of mismatches, you will have to support why the sales on VAT are low compared to what you declared on your income tax. And the same applies to pay. The other area that KRA is focusing on is on ITIM's review. So they are focusing on compliance with your ITIM's invoicing regulation. Recently, KRA has been sending notices and emails and letters to taxpayers with a comparison of the sales that you have declared vis-a-vis your ITIM's transmissions. And they'll ask you to do a reconciliation. So ensure that the two information matches. The other issue is on special tables. It has been ongoing for quite a while. To be put on special table, it means that KRA has identified inconsistency in your VAT returns. And for that reason, they have suspended your PIN. You will not be able to file your returns. Your customers are not going to be able to claim VAT from purchases made from you. So you will be blocked completely from filing VAT. When this happens, ensure you visit your account manager. Each and every company and individual, we have been allocated an account manager. So find out where your station is, visit your account manager. They will let you know why, the specific reason as to why you have been put on special table. There are documents that they will request from you, and it could mark a start of a tax audit, because you may be asked to provide your bank, your reconciliations, your ledgers, and all that. So ensure this is resolved. It's quite a cumbersome process, but we do help with that. You can come to us. We have dealt with such cases, and we can be able to assist you. So those are the three areas that KRA is focusing on at the moment when it comes to tax audits. So ensure you have correctly filed your returns and the information on iTax matches. Ensure you are compliant with ITIMs, and ensure that there are no inconsistencies in your VAT. So having discussed that, how then should you stay ahead of all this? Number one, you need to understand the KRA audit process. You need to know what are these triggers, or what are these actions that will cause KRA to audit you. You may be audited as part of the regular KRA process, and you may be audited because KRA has identified a red flag, maybe an inconsistency. So you need to understand these red flags. You need to know what to do when KRA sends a letter to you, how to act, who to consult, what records you need to provide, and generally how the audit process is conducted. We do teach this in our taxation masterclass. We will discuss this in details. And also, just to mention, though I'm going to talk about it at the end, we are having a bookkeeping masterclass, audit and bookkeeping masterclass starting next week. And on this masterclass, we're also going to be talking about a bit of the KRA audits. Also, you need to ensure that your records are well kept. You need to be able to maintain your records, have all your invoices organized, have all your ledgers reconciled. Just to ensure that when KRA comes after you, you are able to support your arguments. The other one is on a tax health check. With the recent compliance enforcement by KRA, it's going to be mandatory. Or rather, a tax health check is going to be non-negotiable for businesses in Kenya. Please do not let 2025 lapse when you have not done a health check on your business. A tax health check will tell you whether your records are well aligned, whether you have been doing the right thing. We look out for any inconsistencies, and we'll be able to address them early. We are going to organize your records for the purposes of audit, just in case KRA comes knocking at your door. So it's very important for you to engage a tax agent and have them look at your records. A minimum of one health check. You can do a health check on a quarterly basis or 2 times a year, but do not go for a full year without conducting a health check on your business and get to know if you're doing well and if you're compliant with KRA regulations. The other thing you need to know is ensure that you're compliant with the ITIMS regulations. Ensure that all your transactions are transmitted through ITIMS. Understand the new filing systems. We have had a change in pay filing system. We have had a change in income tax returns for residents and non-residents in regards to gratuity. We are also rolling out, KRA is also rolling out the change in filing of income tax for salaried employees. So it's important for you to stay updated. If there is any changes in how VAT is filed or there is a new incorporation on ITIMS, ensure that you attend such webinars for you to get to know what is changing and what is going on in the field of tax. Lastly, but not least, ensure you engage a tax professional, such as RWK Africa. A tax professional, number one, understands the laws. As a business person, you may be too busy to be able to have time to go through the VAT Act and the Income Tax Act and the Tax Procedures Act. And that is where we come in, because it's what we do, it's what we study. So we are able to understand what your business requires, and we can be able to guide you and ensure that if there are any loopholes, we are able to seal and advise your business accordingly. So ensure that you have a tax agent that you're working with in your business. Do not wait until when KRA is knocking at your door. That is when you go running looking for a tax agent. Build a rapport with a tax agent of your choice, like RWK Africa. Book consultation, ask questions, seek clarification. That way you will be able to stay ahead of these changes and also stay compliant. So that marks the end of my discussion on tax trends and emerging issues. But before I hand over to my accurate books, allow me inform you of some of the programs that we have lined up for you this month. And one of them is the bookkeeping masterclass. We are having an audit and bookkeeping masterclass that will be starting next week, Monday, that is 8th of September 2025 to 12th. So the first week will be on bookkeeping masterclass. The following week, beginning on 15th to 19th, will be on audit masterclass. So for anyone out here who is willing to level up and get to understand accounting, compliance, and audit skills, this is the best platform for you. Come and learn. Join us in the 2 weeks of intensive learning. You will get to ask your questions. You'll get to interact with the trainers, bring in all your questions on bookkeeping, on audit. They'll be sorted out in this period. So you're going to learn how to, the bookkeeping techniques. You're going to be taught how to interact with QuickBooks. Also, my accurate books will be introduced to you and how it operates. You're going to learn how to organize your financial records and to pass any audits as a company with confidence. You're also going to understand what auditors look out for when they come to audit you and what is expected of you. Also, you're going to learn on how to interpret financial statements, reconcile ledgers, detect errors, how to post your transactions on these accounting softwares. And you'll be able to learn how to we're going to be doing practical examples for you. So ensure that you enroll for the same. The admin will put a link where you can register. You will tell us what you're interested in. Then we're going to give you a call and provide for you a manual, and you can be able to ask any questions that you have with regards to audit and keeping masterclass. And also at the end of the training, you will be provided with a certificate, and those who are registered with ISPAC, you will be able to get your CPD points. So this is, I see this as a very good opportunity for anyone who is interested in learning. It could be a bookkeeper, any accountant, business owners, financial managers, a tax professional, anyone, a student who is still pursuing accounting or pursuing their CPA. This is a good opportunity for you to get to understand the practical bit of it. So ensure that you click on the link for those who are interested, register with us, then we can pick it up from there. The bookkeeping masterclass goes for 10,000 Kenya shilling, and the audit masterclass is equally 10,000. For the two, if you book both packages, you get a discount of 25%, so you'll pay 15,000. And we're having an offer just for today. For anyone who is going to register with us today in the link that has been provided, you will get a discount, and instead of 15,000, you're going to pay 14,000 Kenya shillings. So for the first 10 people, let me say the first 10 people who register with us, you're going to enjoy that discount. Also, when I started, I mentioned that we do have free webinars. This is our next webinar on tax planning strategies for individual and corporates, going to be on 19th of September between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. So ensure that you join us and get to learn how to plan your taxes as an individual or as a corporate, and also the tax saving strategies. We are also going to be discussing on a different webinar. The third webinar, we are going to be looking at taxation for non-governmental organization. So all the questions that you have regarding NGOs and their taxes, hold them. Then you can come, we can discuss on this webinar. Aside from taxes and trainings, we do have a CSR program that we run as a company, where we teach, we empower the community, and we teach them on how to, we give them skills on how to make products such as charcoal briquettes. We have baking, soap making, animal feeds, such skills are offered on this program. So we have a Skill Up Mentorship program that is coming up on 27th of September. And on this one, we're going to be discussing how to make charcoal briquettes. So if you're interested or you know anyone who may benefit from this program, be sure to invite them and inform them. They can call us, we'll give them details on what the program is about. After that, we do a business incubation program. And the next one will be on how to grow sales with your digital marketing. So on this incubation program, you're going to learn how to use social media platforms to attract and engage customers, how to the proven digital marketing tactics to boost your sales, and tips of creating content that converts, practical strategies to scale your businesses online. So after we have taught you how to prepare charcoal briquettes, we don't leave you at that. We carry you with us. We help you market your product. We show you how to penetrate the market through this business incubation program. So you can join us on Saturday of the 13th September 2025 from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. or any other person who wishes to understand how to market their products or digital marketing can join this program. So thank you so much for your patience. Thank you for choosing to learn with us today. At this point, I'm going to welcome Mr. John, who is going to take over the discussion and lead us and tell us more about my accurate books. For those who have questions, As John continues, I'll be looking at the questions and answering them, so you can keep directing them there. I don't know, John, if you are ready. John, are you there?
Thank you very much. If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. Wonderful. So thank you very much, Grace, for quite an informative session on tax trends and recent updates in matters of KRA. So, ladies and gentlemen, my name is John Gashoka. I'm happy to be taking you through my accurate books, and today we are going to give it a different twist. I know if not all of you, most of you have engaged with the system. And so I'm going to highlight some of the features that we've been working on and how they are working and how you can affect them in your business or in your daily activities. Basically, in your daily activities, because majorly this system seeks to simplify your accounting work, and also when it comes to matters of bookkeeping. So even before I jump into the system, and even before I give a 2 minute background of the system, I'd like you to type in a feeling what? How are you feeling today? Just one word. You can type in. Wow, gifted hands, you say educated. Elijah, you say you feel good. Erastus, informed. Hussein, informed. CPA Muthui, awesome. I see Jacob updated and reached. Thank you, Watome. How about everyone else? One feeling what? Enlightened. Here, I see Loreto, Isinya. I think that's an account. Enriched. Wonderful. Thank you, Patrick. Awesomely happy. Salama Kazungu informed. Kibet informed. Miriam in wonderful. QHC prepared, refreshed, educated, impacted. I mean, I'm more charged to even have this conversation this morning. Well informed, wonderful. So thank you very much for I'm happy to see that all of you have a beautiful word to explain your morning, or a beautiful feeling this morning. And I would want to make it even better. So in 2 minutes, first, a brief introduction. My name is John Gashoka. I'm part of the big family behind my accurate books. This is an accounting software that is meant to work with you and to help you simplify, or basically help simplify what you do on a daily basis. And one thing I realized recently is that the oldest profession is accounting. So your people, you're in the oldest profession, and therefore much respect for the work that you do out there. My accurate books came about I know Grace mentioned two of programs that we do. That is BIP, Business Incubation Program, and we have one running, I think next weekend or this weekend, probably next weekend. There's also a skill up mentorship program that we run on a monthly basis for budding entrepreneurs or enthusiasts who would want to learn a new skill that they can employ in the different and make a living out of it. So one of the major issues that we realized as we taught on financial management, we realized that most of these entrepreneurs, most of these business owners are struggling and grappling with financial management. And apart from them, you see, these are sample. We asked ourselves if it's a sample of like 100 in one sitting or 300 in one sitting, what would happen for those who are not able to make it to the trainings? And in fact, that triggered us to do some bit of research to get to know what are the statistics saying insofar as businesses are concerned, insofar as survival in matters of bookkeeping and accounting is concerned. And it was mind-boggling that in every 10 businesses, 6 usually fail before the end of their first birthday, and that is attributed to not having good records. In fact, before they hit their second birthday, 4 of them do not make it to their 4th birthday. So we realize that while we may have people who are able to work with accountants, while we may have people who are able to work with bookkeepers, what can we do to help an entrepreneur who has just started and they may not have resources to roll out a system that will help them manage their business? And we realize that because we have the knowledge, we have the skill, and we also have a team that could help us develop this system, we sat and said we have to develop it. And that is how we put together a team of accountants, bookkeepers, and software developers to help us develop this system. One trait of my accurate books is that it is extremely simplified in that for you as an accountant, or for even someone who does not have an accounting background, they're able to use this system and they're able to manage their businesses. And you would be surprised that while we launched this system last year, November, this week we hit, in fact, yesterday is when we were looking at the numbers and we realized we are already above 1,000 subscribers who have not only created accounts, but are also using this system. So I'd like to jump right into it so that again, we do it as concise, but as detailed as it can get. So I hope you can see my screen. If you're new to this system, you can go to www.myaccuratebook.com and you will be able to get to view. In fact, you will land on this page where you will be able to see what basically everything about this system. And one thing that we assure our users or our clients is that as soon as you download it or as soon as you start using it, our team is ready and prepared to work with you. So we usually do demos. Sometimes we do them in form of groups. Sometimes we personalize them, depending on how convenient the time is. So I won't go into what happens on this page. Allow me to jump right into the system so that we can do a walkthrough in the most simplified but efficient way. So I will log in into my account. If you don't have one, again, you are able to create it. Apart from accessing it from the web, we are also on Google Play Store. I know some of us are on iOS. Bado hatujafika iOS, but tunakuja mbio sana. However, if you're using iMac or iPhone, you can type My Accurate Book and you can access the web version of this system. So without much ado, we go right into the system. Right. So as soon as you create an account, the first place that you land is on Dashboard Analytics that gives you a summary of your sales, expenses, purchases, profit and loss. And there are features that are going live over this weekend based on feedback that we've received from some of you who are using this system. And one of them is trial balance, general ledger. There is also bank reconciliation. And there's another advancement, especially for those of you who might be using the app version. There is My Accurate Pay, a wallet that helps you manage your resources, where you're able to pay your suppliers, you're able to receive payments from your clients. It is also an extremely simplified yet efficient wallet for you as a user. Now, when you click on the icon, there are a couple of things that you get to see. In this case, you are able to see your package for this account is under standard package. We are yet to roll out the gold package, which has many, many, many features. For example, payroll management, petty cash management, also all these other reports, for example, trial balance, general ledger, and basically all the reports that you might need as you manage your business or as you manage your organization. Under business profile, over here, you're able to update or to update information about your account. When creating an account, you might have missed information. Under this system, you are able to review, edit, and update that information. And by default, payment details is just the cash payment. However, you are able to also update any other mode of payment that you get, whether it is through a bank account. You're able to create a bank details where your clients can make payment, so that when you generate an invoice or you do a quotation, it appears, all this information appears on that invoice or that quotation. You can also update M-Pesa payment if you receive your payments through M-Pesa, or even use a till number or a pay bill number. So this is something you can do. After that, we will now go to, I know you've seen a feature that is coming soon. So of course, some of our clients have been requesting that we integrate this with eTeams, and we had your cry. So what we are doing currently, we've been making presentations to KRA, and I would say we are at high level in closing on this matter. So we are pending. What is pending is just on the aspect of Kenya Revenue Authority, so that we can roll out this feature within the system. So now, if you look at the dashboard, there are a couple of things that have been listed. We have items, we have sales where you can do a receipt, you can do a quotation, you can do an invoice, you can issue a credit note, and in the event that you've delivered things on credit and you've given out invoices, you can update those payments within the system. Secondly, you can also initiate payments of purchases where you are able to do a purchase order, and when approved, you can approve that payment and update information of your suppliers. So in the event that you have suppliers, you can key in their details so that as you make requests, you indicate their details. In the event that a product delivered is not up to standard, or a service delivered is not up to standard, and maybe you want a refund, you can do a note to the supplier. Now, when delivery has been made and you've certified that all the products that have been delivered are in good shape, you are able to now make payment to your supplier. When you go to payment, all the pending payments will be listed here. In some instances, when you go to purchase orders, when the payments have been made, or when the delivery has been made and you as the business owner has approved that payment, you can change that status into approved instead of open. In the event that it is not approved, you can also update that. For example, we can work with Greatman Enterprise. If the status is cancelled, you can also save that status as cancelled. So it depends with what service or product was delivered and what you feel, depending on the quality that you expected. And under that, we have a couple of reports that you're able to get under this package. Maybe first we could look at expenses. As a business, as an organization, you undergo expenses, and it is important to have them done in an organized way. And therefore, under my accurate books, you're able to update expenses that you incur as a business. For example, if you say you want to add an expense, we have different categories, whether you are paying wages or salaries, whether you are paying for software, if it is my accurate book or any other software, whether you're paying for internet or you're paying for any services rendered to you. Maybe you had a team building and you need to update that expense. You can update it here. In the event that there are other expenses, whether it's travel, whether it is maintenance, you are able to update it, including travel costs, if the office takes care of travel of the staff members. And most importantly, if you find that some of the expenses that you incur as a business or as an organization is not listed here, you are able to include a new category. So you can include, for example, you could say air travel. This can be classified under ticketing. Ticketing information where necessary. So it will be listed among air travel is listed over there. When it comes to customers, sometimes you have repeat or return customers. Maybe people you offer services to or people you supply products to. You are able to update that, or you are able to update details of your customer. And you only need their name and a phone number. For a business, you only need the business name. If you wish to include KRA within the system, is not mandatory, but if you wish to include it, you can do that. And again, you can also include details of the person whom you're in contact with. So what is mandatory is the business name, the contact person name, and the phone number. And you will add their information. What you're going to see is like what I have here. You can see every detail of my customer. From there, you can go to the reports. With reports, Summary, you can get a report on inventory. If you're in the products industry, you can get a report on inventory. Under the gold package, when you have movable and assets that are not movable, you are also able to update them within this system. Over here, you can see your profit and loss, maybe, and this is a report that you can download in form of a PDF or Excel when you need it. We saw that the other thing that you need to do, the other thing that a business encounters or is involved in is paying for expenses. Over here, we have operating expenses. So when you download this report, you will get all that. And this can be in form of a PDF or Excel. The other important bit is that depending on the period that you want, you can filter. For example, if you want a report maybe from 1st of August until today, you can get that. So you're able to see all that, including the cost of products that you've been invested in, especially for those who are in the products industry, whether you are in the sale and resale, whether you're in wholesale, retail, you are able to update all that. Again, you get a summary of how your sales have been done, whether it's in form of invoices or receipts. And most importantly, you also get a list of your customers, how they've been giving you business, whether it's in service or product industry. In the event that you are in the hospitality industry, maybe in the next few minutes, I'll show you that. But the other most important report is on sales. So this one, again, you can filter depending on the period that you wish to see. And you can get it in PDF or Excel. So with this report, you're able to tell who has been buying more from you. And again, because you have their contacts, you can even have a one-on-one engagement. If you have an offer, if maybe you know their birthday, you're able to even send them a birthday message or even a hamper. Like now, you download one. So like for this one, you see there is a summary. If you go down, you're able to see who's been buying more from the business. We have Irene. This is our keen customer is a customer who just gets your service, but you don't expect them. But Irene and Juliet, these are customers who maybe they bought more than one time, and now you have their contact. And in the event that a payment is made by M-Pesa, you'll definitely get your customers' details. Now, I mentioned that I would touch on, especially for those who are either in manufacturing or in the hospitality sector. So if you go to sales or in updating items, when you add item, one feature that we've included recently, and it wasn't there, is that you are able to include items that gives you a final product. For example, if it is a chapati, by the way, what is chapati in English? Is it tortilla? I don't know. I know chapati. So if your item is chapati, you can include the raw materials that have made that chapati. If, for example, one packet gives you 30 chapatis, you're able to break down like one piece of chapati takes how many grams of what, how many liters of water, maybe how many grams of grams of maybe baking, is it water, liters of water, or even how is it a pinch of sugar or salt? You are able to update that. For example, we have one product. Let's go to sale. I'll show you one product that we were able to make with a user. We have chapati. So under this chapati, I want you to see what I'm talking about. So the sale of this chapati is 50 bob. There's another chapati. There has to be another chapati. Please scroll down to get to it. Oh, here it is. So here it is. So we have information about the selling price. We say tax is zero rated. There is no discount. But what is important is that in the event that maybe the 30 pieces that you had prepared are out, you are able to update or to include more. For example, you could say 10 more pieces have been prepared. Can you say it's us? Maybe replenishing and you add stock. So if you go to close that, if you come here, we had 22, but you now have 32 chapatis. So you are able to update what you are doing. For those who are in the service industry, like for example, it could be team building. If in the service industry, maybe there is a rate that you charge per head. If maybe the activity is full day or half day or more than 1 day. So you're able to update that under this system. If, for example, you are consulting on brand management or PR consulting, you can also do that, or even HR. You can also give a package into the system, and you will be in a position to generate quotations for your customers. So up to that point, would there be a question or a concern or a clarification that you would wish to get? I'm happy to respond. So Jacob, you're asking, can you be able to transfer or export data from your current system in use to this one? Absolutely, you're able to do that. The system do have a template where you can transfer information and import into my accurate books. In fact, let me show you how we can do it. Under items, you see there is this feature of import. So you can download a template, saturate information, and upload and import it here. And it will bring or it will update that information over here with the cost. So it is possible that you can transfer or you can import information from another system to this one. So Salama Kazungu, is it one-time payment plan or monthly? So we have different packages, Bwana Kazungu. You can pay it monthly, quarterly, maybe half a year or annually. And currently, as I mentioned, the live feature that is already being used by over 700 users is a standard package. Monthly, the cost of the investment is only 500 bob. If you pay for 3 months, you only pay 1,400 shillings. If you go for 6 months, you pay 2,600 shillings only. If you pay annually, you are spared a whole month. So you only pay for 11 months. That is 5,500 shillings only. CPA Mark, I see some minutes ago, you couldn't hear me. Am I audible at this point, ladies and gentlemen? I believe I am. So the other bit that maybe we may maybe I didn't take you through how the payment can be done. If you come to the icon, this icon, and you click on upgrade, you will get to see now the different packages that we offer. That is the standard package and the gold package. So for the gold package, where we have, you can pay 750 bob or shillings, and this has the listed features. And apart from those features, as I mentioned, there are other ones going live over the weekend. For the standard package, you are able to get, you will be investing 500 bob. Quarterly, you can invest, you're supposed to invest 1,400 shillings, or annually 5,500 shillings. If you go for 6 months, you'll only pay 2,600 bob. And in the event that you have more than one users, within my accurate books, you can include other users. So you can update information of other users. You might be the administrator, and maybe in your business, you have a cashier, maybe you have an accountant, or you even have, these are business that is owned by more than one person. You are able to give other administrators rights to this system. So what you'll do is that you're going to use their email address, under add user, you will have their name, include their email address and phone number, assign them a branch. I'm going to show you how the branch works, and also give them a role. There are a couple of roles within the system. It could be an administrator, a cashier, an accountant, or a salesperson, depending with the responsibility that you give them as an administrator. Now, when you do that, you give them, you're supposed to give them different rights. For example, over here, I do have a cashier by name Sally. So Sally, being a cashier, is active because they are working with now this account is under Paterna Events and Brands. They are working with Paterna Events and Brand. So in the event that Sally is no longer working with the company, you can deactivate their account, and they will not be in a position to access information about this account. The other thing, when they're still working with you, you can give them different responsibilities. As a cashier, you can say that they will be in charge of sales, and they will be in charge of updating information about customers and even expenses. You could even go further and say that they will be in charge of making purchases on behalf of your business and maybe have access to inventory. However, there are 2 or 3 rights that you cannot relinquish to anyone. That is branch management or user management. You can imagine giving someone that right, and they decide, I'm now going to lock you up or give you no rights within the system. So when you log in, you find that you cannot access it, while you are the one who owns that business. So it is very important to note that when it comes to user management and branch management, you cannot give it to anyone unless they are your business partners. With reports, If you have an accountant, they will need access to the reports. If you have, you can also give your cashier access to reports. It depends with the level of involvement with the business. Now, you've seen that there is a branch feature. So we recently included a branch feature where when you have more than one branches or you have more than one branches, you are able to manage them remotely as an administrator and give independent users right to those branches. The catch is that they cannot access information of another branch. So they will only be responsible or they will only have access to the branch that they are in. If, for example, you have a branch in Kisumu and maybe another one in Thika and another one here in CBD, as the administrator, you are the only one who will get access to all the 3 branches. But for the people that you're going to assign those branches, they will only get information in relation to that branch. So automatically, as the account holder, the headquarter is your main account. However, you have access to all other 3 branches. So up to that point, would there be a question, concern, query, or clarification? So Salama Kazungu, can it be customized for NGOs like in QuickBooks? Absolutely. We have users who are in the NGO world and they are using this system. So Jacob, you asked whether you can book a demonstration to our company and we take us through. So we make absolutely. So Jacob, we are able to do that. So feel free to fill in the form and indicate that you would wish to get that demonstration. We are happy to make arrangements and take you through it so that again, you make an informed decision in the solution that you're looking at. So QHC, what is the difference between standard and gold package? So apart from the investment, there are many features that are different, or there are a couple of features that are not included in the standard package. As I mentioned, you find that there is petty cash management. There is also payroll management, and apart from that, you also get. In fact, I think you're able to get more than 5 reports under the gold package. So that is majorly the difference. CPA Mark, you ask what are the different kind of reports that can be downloaded. Under the standard package, you can download your inventory report, you can download your expense report, you can also download your sales report, and again, you can download your profit and loss report. So under this package, you are able to do that. Can you manage it on behalf of a business owner? Yes, we can make those arrangements. So I think we can further this conversation if you're able to fill the form. I'm happy to follow up and see how we can execute that. So Franklin, you say this is very good. Thank you very much, Franklin. The good thing is that all the improvements that you see are coming from the users, because this system is not cast on stone. When a recommendation comes from a user, in fact, we discuss it with the development team, basically the team behind the system, and we say, this is actionable, this can wait, this is not actionable. And that is why you are able to see that if you are part of our first presentation, maybe early this year, and today, you can tell that there's a huge difference Because as people came on board and as people implemented this system in their businesses, they were able to give recommendations and we've been able to effect most of them. So is it compatible with KRA reporting? Well, at this point, I can say that with the reports that you're able to extract, they will guide you. If, for example, you do have a bookkeeper or an accountant, they can guide you on the requirements of KRA. For example, if you're in the world of products, right, or in the world of consulting, that is the aspect of, in fact, we also do have clients in the world of travel. And of course, there are aspects of KRA that they need to report on. Well, we've not closed on the e-teams aspect of reporting. With the existing reports, they can guide on decision making or even on reporting when you're doing your monthly or annual reporting. So Lucy Campbell, I don't know if I missed this, but please give us the rates for the gold package. So for the gold package, the investment for a month is 750 shillings only, and with the branches, you will be adding, I think 200 bob on a monthly basis, but it is 750 as it is. If you go for annual, you will pay for 9,000 shillings only. But if you decide to go for, let me show you. 9,000 annually, quarterly is 2,200. So that would mean 4,200 if you pay for 6 months. Is it integrated? Miriam, you ask, is it integrated with e-teams? Not really, as I showed in the presentation. In fact, I can still show it now. If you look at the icon, e-teams is coming soon. We are awaiting on closure from the Kenya Revenue Authority side so that we can go live insofar as e-teams receipting or invoicing is concerned. So bear with us at this point, but the system as it is, I can confidently say that you can use it to run your business. So I see I've been able to address most of the questions, if not all of them. So Franklin, thank you very much for that question. In fact, a couple of weeks ago, we had a couple of users talking about maybe being able to attach an image, an invoice image. And I can tell you that this is a feature. I've mentioned that there are features that are going live over the weekend. So if this is not one of them, it should be up and running within 1 week. So be on the lookout, because these are features that we've given high priority, whether it's attaching a photographic image of an invoice or even attaching an invoice to an email when you're sending to a client instead of downloading. It's a feature that we are on top of. Thank you for that question. So you can get to us on 0116 333 000. That is on call or on WhatsApp. You can also get to us on our different social media handle. We are on TikTok, we are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, we are on X as My Accurate Books. So if you check us there, you will be in a position to reach to us. However, you can contact us on this number. I also note that, let me write My Accurate Also, there's a link that had been shared. I don't know where that is. Not check whether it's. So with this link, you can indicate. Lucy. Now for the 6 months. So the 5,200 is for the gold package, not the standard package. The standard package 6 months is only 2,600. Maybe I missed. Maybe I shared it wrong, but that is the rate. 5,200 is for the gold package 6 months, because annually is 9,000. I hope that responds to your concern. So Collins, kindly fill that form. I know someone will be in a position to share the notes. So I would invite you to fill that form. So ladies and gentlemen, if there is no, maybe just for in 30 seconds, I'll be back. There is information I need to share. All right, so I'm back. And the information I needed to share is that you can, if you fill this form, you'll be able to get your details, and we are happy to support, whether you need the notes or the software. Someone will be in contact. If it's in regards to my accurate books, I'll be in contact. If it's in regards to notes, there is a team member who will make sure that you get those notes. So I thank you very much for sparing your time. It's been an engaging 2 hours, and it takes a lot of not just patience, but also endurance. So thank you very much, and we hope it has been helpful. If you've not filled the form on the upcoming bookkeeping masterclass, be sure to do it. I hear that Grace gave you goodies when I was not around. So instead of paying 15,000, you'll only pay 14,000. 1,000 is good money for maybe a kilo of choma, or even sending it to the countryside to our friends and our family. So asanteni sana, muwe na weekend njema. I look forward to seeing you and engaging with you within the week, and also look forward to the next webinar. Have a good afternoon.